Welcome, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to the Inclusivity Lounge. Is it our 7th? 5th? No? Okay, I skipped 2. I'm sorry. So, we are really happy to have you here. Thank you, ambassadors, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. My name is Stella Kasdagli. I'm the co-founder of Women on Top. Women on Top has been organizing the Inclusivity Lounges both in the Delft Economic Forum and the Thessaloniki International Fair to bring issues that are rarely discussed in big conferences and decision-making spaces like those. And this year, we are approaching the demographic issue, which, as you may have noticed, is often approached in terms of just fertility rates, abortion rates, weird chemicals in our foods affecting male fertility. Also, women who are taking too much time building up their careers until it's too late to have children. And we wanted to have a more informed and a broader and maybe more holistic discussion around the demographic issue that encompasses an issue that is a horizontal issue that is very close to our hearts: inclusion. Inclusion both in the job market, but also in society as a whole. So before I welcome our first panel on stage, I want to present you with a welcome video by the Minister of Social Cohesion and Family Affairs, Mrs. Maria Kefala. And also we will have the ambassador of the US in Athens, Mr. George Chunis, give his welcome remarks. Even before that, I would like to thank our sponsors and our supporters for this year's Inclusivity Lounge, namely Pancreta Bank, Principia, Hellas Gold, and also the British Council in Greece, Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, Greece and Cyprus, and of course the US Embassy in Athens and the Ministry for Social Cohesion and Family Affairs for their ongoing support all these years. So let's watch the video from the Minister.
Αξιότιμοι κύριε Πρέσβη, κυρίες και κύριοι, για μια ακόμη φορά το Women on Top αγγίζει και φέρνει στο προσκήνιο ένα ιδιαίτερα σοβαρό ζήτημα που απασχολεί ολόκληρο το δυτικό κόσμο. Ένα φλέγον ζήτημα που αντιμετωπίζει όχι μόνο η χώρα μας, αλλά ολόκληρη η Ευρώπη. Το δημογραφικό αποτελεί μάστιγα της σύγχρονης εποχής, αλλά και μια πρόκληση για τις σύγχρονες κοινωνίες. Γεγονός που το καθιστά ένα κρίσιμο ζήτημα, με σοβαρότατες οικονομικές και κοινωνικές προεκτάσεις. Τα στοιχεία δεν είναι ενθαρρυντικά, καθώς το δημογραφικό τείνει να εξελιχθεί σε μια ορολογιακή βόμβα, με ορατό τον κίνδυνο για το μέλλον. Σύμφωνα με τα σενάρια προβολής, ο πληθυσμός της Ελλάδας αναμένεται να μειωθεί τα επόμενα χρόνια. Και αυτή είναι μια πραγματικότητα που όχι απλώς καλούμαστε να διαχειριστούμε, αλλά να ανατρέψουμε. Φυσικά δεν είναι μια κατάσταση που αλλάζει από τη μια μέρα στην άλλη. Οι δράσεις και οι πρωτοβουλίες που καλούμαστε να αναλάβουμε στοχεύουν στη μεσομακροπρόθεσμη ανάσχεση του φαινομένου, με το βλέμμα στραμμένο στις επόμενες δεκαετίες. Απαιτούνται χρόνια για να αντιστρέψουμε τα δεδομένα, αλλά έχουμε χρέος να δουλέψουμε για το αύριο του τόπου μας. Είναι μια πραγματική μάχη που οφείλουμε να δώσουμε όλοι μαζί. Έχουμε πλήρη επίγνωση της κρισιμότητας του προβλήματος και είναι η πρώτη φορά στην ιστορία της χώρας μας που το δημογραφικό έχει τοποθετηθεί ανάμεσα στα πρωταρχικά θέματα της ατζέντας μιας κυβέρνησης. Η σημερινή εκδήλωση αποτελεί ένα ουσιαστικό κομμάτι στο πάζλ του δημογραφικού. Οι δυτικές κοινωνίες και ιδίως εμείς ως Έλληνες έχουμε υποχρέωση να λειτουργήσουμε συμπεριληπτικά και πολυεπίπεδα. Είναι κοινωνική και εθνική αναγκαιότητα. Η ενίσχυση της γυναικείας απασχόλησης. Η ένταξη των μεταναστριών και των μεταναστών. Η διαγενειακή συμπερίληψη στη φροντίδα και την αγορά εργασίας. Η εναρμόνιση της επαγγελματικής με την οικογενειακή ζωή. Ναι, μπορούν να προσφέρουν βιώσιμες λύσεις στο δημογραφικό, τόσο στην Ελλάδα όσο και στην Ευρώπη. Και όλα αυτά δεν είναι ευχές ούτε διαπιστώσεις. Είναι το αποτέλεσμα που επιδιώκουμε μέσα από τη δουλειά που κάνουμε, την οποία συνεχίζουμε με ομοίωτη ένταση, συνέπεια και στοχοπροσήλωση. Χαιρετίζω λοιπόν τη σημερινή εκδήλωση, συγχαίρω την εξαιρετική πρωτοβουλία του Women on Top και είμαι βέβαιη πως οι τοποθετήσεις των εκλεκτών ομιλητριών και ομιλητών θα συμβάλλουν τα μέγιστα για την εξαγωγή σημαντικών συμπερασμάτων.
Thank you, Minister, even from afar. I would now like to welcome the US Ambassador in Greece, Mr. George Chunis, to give his welcome remarks.
Thank you. It's truly an honor for me to be here. I'd like to begin by acknowledging some people who I'm privileged to work with and privileged to do this very, very important work with. I'd like to start with my partner in diplomacy in Greece, the fabulous Deputy Chief of Mission, Maria Olsen. And Kristen Roberts and Shauna Surrender for our public diplomacy department. Thank you very much. And it's an especially great honor for me to acknowledge my good friend and mentor, and someone who has, I count as a friend now for well over a decade, former congressman, former senator, current ambassador to Ankara, Jeff Flake, and his wife Cheryl. Thank you for being here. Folks, I say this without embellishment. You will not find a finer human being than Jeff Flake, I assure you. It is a profound honor for me to join you today at the 7th Inclusivity Lounge, hosted here at the Delphi Economic Forum. At the U.S. Embassy, we are proud to have been part of this initiative since it was launched in 2021. Now, there's annual sessions at the Delphi Forum and the International Fair in Thessaloniki. This program is rapidly becoming a cornerstone of the Embassy's efforts to champion equality over all sectors of society. I want to emphasize over all sectors of society. Democracy only works when it works for everyone. To leave vast swaths of our population underinvested in, ignored, that they are not seen, not heard, not valued, is an injustice for all of us. You know, we need to continue to bend the arc of the universe towards justice. When we fight for a principle, when we fight for an ideal, we make the world a better place to be. Now, I know that's sort of a corny idea today, and it's not a catchy phrase, but it's really the work that's important. We cannot continue to ignore the fact that my daughters may not have the same opportunity as my son. And it can't be just about my daughters. Those that were born into privilege, we have to make sure that every person has an equal opportunity to climb the ladders of success. Despite the circumstances of their birth, we cannot call ourselves a great civilization if we don't add truth to this very important principle. As the U.S. Ambassador to Greece, advancing equity and inclusion isn't just part of my job. It's part of my ethos, it's part of this embassy's ethos. It's the work that Maria and Shauna and Kristen do every day. Advancing equity is about lifting every voice, from women to the LGBTQI plus community, from individuals with individual disabilities to refugees. As a child of two immigrants who were able to rebuild their lives, fleeing poverty and war, this is fundamental to me. Our collective future hinges on our ability to fully embrace and harness the diverse talents and perspective of all our nation's citizens. Embracing diversity and ensuring inclusion are not just the right thing to do, it makes economic sense as well. A society that utilizes only half its potential, that overlooks the talents and contributions of vast swaths of its population, is a society that operates with one hand tied behind its back. We are not going to solve the great issues of the day, whether it be climate change, whether it be food scarcity, if we continue to sideline 50% of our population, 50% of our intellectual capability. We have significant problems in this world, and we need to bring the full force and might of the entire population to bear to solve some of these challenges. Greece is the 5th oldest country in the world. It's facing rapid demographic shifts. Recent studies have indicated the population of Greece under 65 years of age will drop by 1.8 million people by 2050. Under these conditions, the imperative for full inclusion becomes even more acute. Our shared economic prosperity depends on it. The Bank of Greece has even cited as macroeconomic challenge of the economic risks posed by high rates of female, youth, and long-term unemployment in Greece, which are significantly below the EU average. Put another way, Greece, like any country, and these are not challenges that Greece faces alone. Many Western nations do so. But we can only flourish economically when we tap into the potential and talents of all our people, women, people with disabilities, migrants, and people in the LGBTQI+ community. Folks, I don't come from the diplomatic world, I come from the C-suite. And that's where I'm going to return in 9 months. If it's one thing that I've learned in business is the world is globalized, there's obsolescence, it's fast moving. And can anyone tell me that best practices, the optimal decision-making body, is a group of octogenarian white males from Italy? I mean, this is fundamentally ridiculous. That we operate best when at the decision-making table are people from all walks of life, from different backgrounds, different skill sets, different data points that are at the table. That is best practices. We do so in the corporate world, and I think the world benefits when we incorporate all of these perspectives and this decision-making process in every construct in the world. Now, I stand before you committed not only as an ally for gender equality, but as an advocate for leadership that reflects the true diversity of our world. To this end, I call upon my fellow man leaders, opinion makers, people, everyone that matters. We have an obligation, a responsibility to make sure that we address these injustices. I call upon them to join this journey as allies for diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We need to broaden this circle. Make sure that people from traditionally underrepresented communities don't just get a foot in the door. And one thing I am grateful for, as last year I spoke at this event and there were just 2 other males here, and I'm glad to see that we did broaden the circle. We need to do so. Oh my God, Alison, I'm so sorry. Alison Duncan, the fabulous Australian ambassador to Greece. We need to ensure that everyone has pathway to positions of influence and leadership. We need to work together to figure out which structures are standing in our way and identify ways to clear paths to the C-suites, to positions of leadership, to bring more men into spaces like the Inclusivity Lounge as allies who are eager to listen, to learn, and lift up the voices of all leaders, irrespective of gender and background. But we can't stop here. We need to weave our vision of inclusion into the fabric of every global dialogue, be it the economy, climate change, international conflict, or education. Let's pledge to make every panel, every forum, a mirror of the world in the wondrous diversity that exists. A heartfelt thanks to women on top, particularly Stella and Penelope, for their extraordinary partnership and tireless work. My gratitude extends to my friend Simeon Simokos and his team for the continued support of this valuable and invaluable initiative. As we engage in today's discussions, let us commit to action, to building bridges, breaking barriers, and creating a world where diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility are not just ideals, but the foundations of collective success. Because the need exists, the work continues, the struggle endures, so that one day, at a future Inclusivity Lounge event, We celebrate only inclusiveness, only acceptance. Until then, let us commit to action. This is a moral imperative, and it's up to all of us to fight for it. Thank you very much.